Hey everyone, and welcome back to the EdgeVerse Techcast, your go-to place for everything NXP software, tools, and enablement. I'm your co-host, Bridgette Stone, and today we're diving into something that every developer touches but doesn't always celebrate: documentation.
That's right, Bridgette. This is Kyle back again. So, over the last several episodes, Bridgette and I have introduced a lot of new tools, frameworks, and workflows. But none of that works without all of you developers getting crystal clear documentation to help guide your way. So it really is the unsung hero, Bridgette, of how we improve the enablement experience for our customers.
Exactly. And to help us unpack how NXP builds, maintains, and continuously improves that documentation, we brought in someone we both very much admire, Shashi Bala, our resident documentation expert. Shashi, on a personal note, you and I got to work closely this year during the Kanara and Port acquisitions. I feel like that gave me some exposure into what you do behind the scenes. And wow, just wow, it's a lot. I'm so glad you're here. Would you please introduce yourself to our listeners and share a bit about your role at NXP?
Hello, folks. I'm thrilled to be here and share some insights from my journey. I'm based out in Noida, India, and have been a technical writer for a little over 25 years. 18 plus of these years are shaped by NXP's engineering culture. I began in the era where manuals lived in Word and formatting was half the battle. Then came FrameMaker, which gave us discipline and scale for bigger set of content. Today, we write like engineers. Docs as code in XML and Markdown. Documents have evolved from huge single files to modular components that are built like software. My journey has taught me one thing: tools change, but the craft doesn't. Clear guidance that helps developers move faster is always the North Star.
Sasha, you've had a front row seat to the evolution of our MCUXpresso enablement. What are some of the biggest changes you've witnessed from where things started to where we are today?
Okay, so MCUXpresso SDK began as a one-stop enablement package for NXP MCUs, drivers, middleware, and several components all bundled together. Back then, documentation was mostly static PDFs, and over time, we have seen big shifts, moving to structured XML for consistency to be utilized in high performance, high quality documentation tools, then modular SDK delivery via GitHub and West Manifest. So we have no more giant downloads. Started with XML, moved to Markdown to align with best practices for GitHub documentation.
Oh my gosh, yes. Anything that avoids a multi-gigabyte download is an instant hero move for our developers. Keep going. You lived through every phase of this evolution.
Yeah, we have embraced VS Code alongside MCUXpresso ID because developers wanted flexibility. Adding new documentation for cool NXP middleware like LVGL and EIQ, plus adopting calendar versioning for user clarity.
So, Shashi, when customers ask us, where do I find the latest documentation? The answer is not just one link anymore. Can you walk us through what formats does NXP offer and where should customers go to find them?
Yeah, NXP provides a multi format documentation ecosystem. For formats, we have HTML for interactive and searchable content, PDFs that are downloadable, and Markdown based READMEs for the GitHub repos. For centralized access, you can always go to docs.nxp.com. For SDK specific docs, mcuxpresso.nxp.com is your place. And for next gen SDK content, we have GitHub repositories.
That's what I love about what you're working on. It's not just a bunch of formats and links. NXP's really worked on delivering the documentation in that format and then that location where the developers want it. But what about the actual offering? You've talked about the formats and locations. What is the breadth of the things that we do deliver, the guides, the notes, the manuals, all the things that you spend countless hours making sure are high quality?
We have comprehensive user guides, reference manuals, release notes, and quick start guide. You can access our online collections and watch lists for personalized content. We have also integrated App Code Hub for curated examples and README files.
Now, Sashi, you've been leading the charge on our move into modern HTML documentation. What drove that shift, and what steps did the team take to make that happen?
The primary reason was to improve the searchability and navigation as compared to the static PDFs. Then was to enable responsive design for multiple devices. We wanted to support version documentation with uniform look and feel, and not to forget the reuse and automation that we now can achieve through Sphinx and Data Framework.
I think search alone could have justified this whole migration. The old Control F PDF treasure hunt days are behind us. What were some of the first steps the team took to make this shift real?
Well, the transition was not very easy to begin with. We had initial hiccups, but then it just went like Jiffy. We migrated legacy docs to XML data and integrated Oxygen editors for structured authoring. Then we implemented Sphinx-based pipelines for HTML generation and hosting on docs.mcuxpresso.nxp.com. Then we consolidated multiple doc sources like SDK, Matter, Zephyr, all under a unified template. We have also introduced GitHub markdowns for READMEs and automated quality checks for App Code Hub.
Shashi, you and I are on weekly calls, really daily calls. So I know, as Bridgette said, you are so busy making all of this come to life, but what is your personal favorite improvement with documentation? What is the thing that you like the most?
Well, I have many. If you just want me to choose one.
Let's start with one.
Yeah, my personal favorite in that case would be the version selector for older releases. I think the developers absolutely love accessing the previous version and they do not need to fish around things.
Yeah, now the developer, if they find that documentation, it's so closely tied with the release. It's sometimes actually bundled with the actual repository. They know if I'm using this version of the SDK, this software is associated with it. Then they can do rollbacks or jump forward to see what has changed in that documentation. So it's really improved versus multiple PDF files that they have in different folders. It's delivered in a version control mechanism. All right, you did say you have a lot of favorites. Why don't you talk on a couple others that come to mind that have been really great improvements with NXP documentation?
Indeed. We have cross-linking and embedded visuals now, and not to forget the interactive TOC with collapsible sections. So that's definitely on the top list.
So, Sashi, take us into the future for a moment. What will listeners notice in the coming months? I know there's a new format, consistency across projects, TOC improvements. Give us the crystal ball version.
So yes, I agree. It's consistency and ease of access. Everything in one location. We'll have consistency across projects where at least 12 SDK projects are adopting the same HTML structures. Then the unified landing page. That would be a single jumpstart from nxp.com to all the software documentation.
I really appreciate that we embrace the focus on consistency. It feels like such a game changer for anyone hopping between projects or SDKs. That's what you're doing to streamline today. But I know you also have a whole set of updates aimed at meeting modern expectations. Can you walk us through that part?
Yeah. So what you have to look forward now is to the new book format, which should have cleaner navigation and modular chapters for SDK topics. Then you just mentioned the TOC enhancements, where we have smarter categorization of migration guides, where the migration guides and release notes would come on the top. We would be expanding a GitHub integration with more markdowns-based guides and VS Code workflows. Then, along with the HTML, we will have the possibility to download the PDFs for offline use.
That's right. We can't get rid of those PDFs. I'll tell you, Shashi, the more customers we talk to, they say, where is my PDF? I need to have a download. So no fear to our listeners. We are absolutely going to provide the PDF, but the source will be a very nice modern HTML workflow. Well, Shashi, this was a treat. You did a great job explaining all the new changes in the documentation and how complex it is. You are working in a global environment. You work with teams in Europe and in Americas and in Asia. The way that you work with them so that NXP delivers the best documentation is excellent. So thanks for sharing all the insights and the details. And you know what? I encourage all the listeners, we'll drop some links, Shashi, that you provide into the episode notes so that they can take a look at that. So thanks again, Shashi, for sharing everything you did on this episode today.
Not a problem, Kyle, and thank you, Bridgette. I really enjoyed this. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, we enjoyed having you. And like we always say, our guests walk in nervous and always walk out smiling. So thanks again. And thank you to our listeners for spending time with us. If there's a topic you'd love for us to explore next, send us a note, and we truly enjoy hearing from you.
And until next time, everyone, keep building, keep exploring, and you know what? Maybe read a great NXP document today. And we'll catch all of you on the next EdgeVerse Techcast.